So
Okay.
a few things. From what we saw at the time, a year or two ago, what King did in his village and how he engaged all those kids there to, I don't know, listen and contact and write with, make a contact with the new guides. Remember those photos from his village, actually, from his community?
Oh, King.
King, yes. So he did it like a year ago or so, and
Okay.
it was a great success, both for us to share around those photos from those kids and their gatherings and their creations. And it was even bigger success, let's say so, for those inhabitants, those locals from his village, which he did that with. Okay, so it seems to me that the way to spread it in Africa is for all those people who are singing New You, few of them in Africa, let's say, to spread it at their local level in their nearest communities, so with people living around and in their villages or whatever, because it seems to work for King at least, so he may share it with you if you missed it at the time. And the second one I want to share is just my remark or my uh, perspective on that radio show situation for Africa you are planning to start with. It is great idea. Okay, you will turn on the radio show. Eric will show up. We may show. Okay, but I see that the reason why there are no more African people from Africa on Skype is because they cannot connect. They the phones they have are the most basic one. Either they cannot afford the internet at all, so it is not so easy to turn in and speak on the radio show in a sense of technical abilities which they have. So radio show is great. While I was in the Way of Truth and was visiting seminars in Africa, I was on the radio and I was on the TV, but it was the local radio and it was the local TV. So it is up to somebody from Africa or for you to find a local radio station there so that people can turn the local can join in local calls. Otherwise, why there are no almost no and never African people on our Skypes, on those ongoing Skypes? Because they cannot connect due to different practical reasons. It is not that they do not want to. We have, over the years, we have people who step in and show one or two or three times on the Skype, and then there were just almost all the time where the noises, the cuts off, and things like that. So when talking about radio show, of course you can make, and I encourage it, I support it, the radio shows with Eric on Blog Talk Radio. But if you want to engage African community, then you should think in a sense of local radio shows or rather local networks. You see, the
Yeah.
networks they can reach. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. Vesna. It's really true what you said. It's really, really true. You visited Africa? Which country?
Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire.
Oh, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. Okay. Yeah, it's true what you've said. Most don't come on board not because they are unwilling, but because of the technical difficulties, and because they don't have, even if they have the smartphones which can connect well, but sometimes internet connectivity is a problem. So, like you've said, local radio shows could be the way. In fact, we planned this with in Nigeria with Ibiok. I even asked him, give me. He's just gone off radar. Give me the cost of the whole of a show. How much it can cost for 1 hour or 2 hours, and I've not got a feedback till today. And what you've said, Vesna, has tickled my imagination, and I think within this week we have one new friend in Cameroon, and in the city where I was working before I came here, and I think I'm the one who initiated the radio show there. I went to the radio station myself, and I made the contacts for a Kanka broadcast. So I can still connect with him and ask him to contact the radio stations. In fact, I was working very closely with him to put up posters, to do everything, planned for meetings. We're doing the things together. A very devoted elderly person. So I think from what you've said, it's an eye opener, and I think we're just going to implement that in all the localities that in all the countries where we have new friends. We'll make that to give them
Charles, just make it whatever way you make it. Okay, you can connect to their local station from international.
Yes, you get the idea. We've discussed this many times. Yes, because of the phones and that affordability of the Africans. Yeah.
Whatever you organize, okay, in Africa, you may consider organizing it that way, that you can connect internationally there, but the people who are supposed to be on the show, the local people, should be able to connect on local calls. Okay, that's the idea. Otherwise, it would not work. Okay, you can call through Skype because you have both internet and money to do it, and phone to do it. But they should be able to connect from their local connections. Okay, not through internet and not through Skype anyway. Otherwise, it would not.
Yes, that is right. And the resource person, the person who plans it, must be like the anchor man, and maybe the radio host is going to interview him, and they will engage in a lively talk and something like that. So it cannot be. It's local is local, as you've said, as you pointed out. The local radio, that there has to be a resource person who will be sitting there, maybe for calls to come in for the show, during the show, something like that. So I think the person has to prepare himself somewhat to face the challenges. Yeah, it can't be over Skype or internet or something like that. It is for the communities in which they live. It is right there on the spot. then our talk radios could be like international. Yes, we just add to what they are doing, and the blog talk shows could be rebroadcast in the local environment. You pay for airtime for that to be broadcast and all the like. So it will go to supplement what they're already doing, what they are doing on the ground. So I think it's perfectly in order. Yeah. So I would try to communicate this with them. Thank you very much,
Charles?
Vesna. Yeah.
Okay, yes, Vesna, that's understood. Again, we went over this, and the idea here with the radio show is not to contact necessarily the Africans individually with their cell phones for them to connect to Blog Talk Radio. No, that's not the idea. That's not going to work, of course. The idea is that this platform is created so that Eric and others involved, such as yourself, Charles, can contact organizations around the world that you may not know about that can contact these people locally. You see?
Yeah.
That's the idea. No, not to just call into Blog Talk Radio from Africa to the United States or wherever it is. No, but it's to show that, we care about the Africans and we want to make a connection here, so it's going to take time to do that, just like we do in the colleges. You go through the steps, but, you go through the college first, then you individually, for the most part, contact the students and the clubs and the groups, etc., but you go through the college first, so that's the idea. Now Eric can, look on the internet as an example of all these African organizations, contact them, and the basic idea, again, that we're presenting is about the natural environment and what's going on, and use examples of what is taking place in Africa. Again, one of the big things is the tree wall from the Sahara, because the desert keeps creeping in because of what's going on with the environment there, etc. So again, he's the contact point to other organizations that will contact the local people, you see? And
yeah.
you create that platform there. So just like a university creates itself, it becomes the focal point. That's what we're creating here. We're creating that focus and platform. Also, I really want to go over this real fast, and that is that, to some people looking at this, I'm sure they're going to think, okay, well, why are we doing this? And what about the new you and the real guides and our real inner experiences and all this, the real side experiences? What does this have to do with it? Well, interestingly enough, all those lifetimes that we've all spent through all these ideas and spiritual paths and religion and all these things, all of a sudden we're still ending up here. Why is this? It's simply because those things are only part of creation. They're not part of the real universes. They're part of creation. They're not part of the isness to be recognized. So even though people have gone through these things, they feel that, oh, well, I know about this, I know about that. Well, yeah, it's the basics. But there's a lot more to learn about creation, and this is what we're doing. This is why it's set up like this with the natural environment that we use, which is really everything, okay? It's the whole of life. And to go through this and take part, because this is why we're all in life, is to see the whole picture, not just scoot out of here and into some heavenly place and then just hang around there, etc. No, there's a much bigger view, and it's getting through yourself, and this entails all of creation. That's why we're doing it. So as you get involved, you'll see that the guides, the real guides, are working with you on the real side. They're there for you, etc., and educating you about the whole of life, not just some spiritual or religious idea that people have been frameworked with. And for the most part, that's just in the astral realm. And one of the experiences that I was discussing the other day with Sandy here and the girls is that, you know, she sees them and seen them too. The Ekis as an example, they're all trapped in the lower astral realm with Harold and that, even though here they think they've got this big spiritual idea going to where they're in these, you know, higher levels and all this stuff. And it's not so. And when they go to the real side, they see it. So everything that we're doing and presenting, everything that I'm seeing and presenting, I see it from the is of a particular way because it relates to a real educational course for people to go through, not just the mind frame stuff that they've gone through and the ideas that they've accumulated. Actually, most of these spiritual ideas that we've collected and religious, yeah, they do apply. But life is bigger. Now it just got bigger because life is a new nowness. It's an isness to be recognized, and there's always something more. So this again becomes the individual's course. So this is why I can see that, you know, as people look at this, they're trying to compare. It's not about that. It's about getting involved and stepping up and seeing what's really going on. And the study material, it's there. That's a start. But the bigger picture is getting involved. And so this is why I've created all these positions so that people can have something to do, because you look at most of the spiritual paths or whatever, you just join as a member, you pay your dues, you go to the seminar, you listen to pretty words, that's it. And you go back to your regular life and you watch the planet die. Or you pretend that, oh, it doesn't matter. You know, this is the corporation members. Oh, that doesn't matter. The earth doesn't matter. Well, it sure does for all these people that came here that want to be educated and wake up. That's why they came here. At the same time, they're struggling. So those people that step up and become involved with what's really going on here, they will, supersede anything in these so-called spiritual path ideas, because it's about the whole of life. It's not about some nice sounding spiritual or religious idea about gods and all this other funny stuff that people have clung to for the longest time through many lifetimes. So, you know, this is why I've created all these things, so people have something to do and to become involved in. And all of a sudden you watch the real side, it starts to move along those lines. And so there's a bigger picture here that I'm working on for the longest time, that several of us are, that will, it's going to kind of knock the socks off people when it really does happen, because there's a lot more going on the earth and other places in the physical realm that most people really don't know about, etc. So, you know, a step at a time for everybody here, but for right now, certain people will be shown on the real side. But again, it's the risk-taker position, and to step up and really care and see what's going on, because as you do, you really start to, open up, and things start to, you become more aware of the bigger picture, not just these ideas that we've come to know. So again, what is being presented here are references to a bigger picture, and it's not just that, oh, I want to get to the real universes and I want to get out of here because it's a bad place. You're first going to have to face this place, face yourself and everything, and see what's really going on, and learn to deal with it before you can handle the whole of life. So it's getting through creation first. And so this is why I've set all these courses up, these positions for people to become involved, because this is part of your real education. This is the basis, and then from here you'll have the real side experiences. You do the new you, etc. But all of a sudden you're going to see a bigger picture that you never saw before, little by little. So again, with Eric and what have you, yeah, we've created that platform. Now, Eric, again, he can contact these world law organizations, and they can contact people locally. Let's see what shows up. And so that's the same thing we're doing with the school strike. We're contacting them. I became part of them. I joined. I signed up with them step by step. Let's see if we get their attention, bring them around as an example to the new school. And, you know, these kids have initiated this. I would say that they could start their own new schools, around the world, etc. Let's see what happens.